Did you know that in 2016, the number of registered startups in India was just around 500? Can you guess what's the number today? It's more than 159,000 or 1.59 lakhs. And that's just the ones recognized as startups. There are many new age smaller businesses which haven't even registered themselves. But, only 10% of these startups, funded or non-funded, survive in the long run. So what even motivates people like me to start their own businesses? Especially a business where you don't even go out to seek any funding. The entrepreneurship itch. Those who have it know what I'm talking about. If you're someone who's experienced the same itch, you might be having several questions. Is there a way to build a self-sustaining business? How do I build something that can survive the test of time? Do all businesses have to aim to be big unicorns? Let me take you through my journey and the lessons that I've been learning along the way. Lesson 1. Start small. It doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't wake up one day and decide to start my own content marketing business. Every phase of my life taught me something that brought me closer to building what I run today. No one around me could really guide me. And I knew my family, while supportive, did not have the appetite for risk that starting up demands. So I found a middle ground. I told myself, let's learn, let's earn, and let me build experiences before I take the leap. Back then, when I was in my second year of college, I came across a freelance content writing opportunity and I said, why not? My college was around 10 to 12 kilometers away and I would keep on needing money for fuel. So if I could cover my fuel costs with what I earned with content writing, why not? That would be a good start. The pay was, let's just say, symbolic, but the thrill of making my first earning unmatched. That was the first time that I realized something so powerful. Until you do the job, you don't really know what you're worth. And honestly, at that time, even peanuts felt like validation. Lesson 2. Collect skills. As early, as fast, and as deeply as you can. Back at college, I wasn't just freelancing. I also joined ISEC, the world's largest student-led organization. And it taught me early leadership. I was going to different colleges, recruiting individuals for the city chapter. I also got a chance to be a part of the Young Indians Initiative by CII, or the Confederation of Indian Industries. And I was always an active participant in our college annual fests. While I was doing all of this, I never knew I was flexing a very important muscle, the entrepreneurship muscle. A muscle that enables you to do anything and everything at any time of the day. And unless you've done that in your early days, it is very difficult to do it later. While I was pursuing my integrated MCA course, I also completed 4 diplomas in French. Because, believe it or not, languages can open doors that degrees cannot. And that is exactly what happened for me. When most of my peers continued the MCA route, I got a job offer from TCS, but not for coding, but as a business analyst for their French clients. This was a role typically reserved for MBAs, but since our country was short on French-speaking professionals who also had analytical skills, they widened the pool, and I got in. This was a big step because here I wasn't just learning how to work. I was learning how businesses work, how HR function recruits, how operations happen, how finance function builds the clients, and how all of it falls into place. And this comes only from observation. And while this was a crucial step, I'll take a slight detour for lesson number 3. And this is something that I'm guilty of not following through because of my circumstances back then. But today, I would totally recommend it to someone planning to start earning. Don't dismiss something that you love doing as a side hustle. It might be your calling. While I had started earning some money from content writing back in 2010 and had also figured a way to earn in dollars thanks to sites like People Per Hour, which is sort of an older version of Fiverr and Upwork, and is still like a better version, I would say, I always treated my content writing gig as a hobby. And because my parents too didn't quite understand this new world that had opened up, they couldn't really imagine if something like this could be a full-fledged business or profession. So I simply dismissed it as a side hustle, something that I eventually circled back to later. But who knows what doors could have opened up had I simply believed in myself and continued that journey, which I see a lot of college kids doing these days. More power to you and to your side hustle. Lesson number 4, build a prototype and test the market. So while I was working as a business analyst at TCS, I also simultaneously prepared for CAT and got into IIM Ranchi. During my MBA, we had a course in entrepreneurship. We were asked to create a small business, test the market, and build a model. I thought, why not use what I already know? So I leaned back into content writing. I launched a small service under the name of Contentosaur. And surprisingly, it worked. Clients flowed in. The market was still hungry for good content. But I also had a student loan. And my family wasn't in a position to absorb failure. So once again, I took the middle road. I treated Content to Soar as a side hustle and after graduating, joined a media house. Lesson number 5. Observation is your biggest tool. Honestly, well, sometimes I do wonder what would have happened had I ditched the entire route of a job, an MBA, and a job again, the conventional route. In the whole process, I admit I learned a lot. After my MBA, working in media gave me the clarity I didn't even know I needed. For 3 years, I observed how the B2B content space was evolving. Companies were moving away from ads and towards content marketing. But most content that was being produced was shallow and generic. There was a disconnect between what companies needed and what creators at that time could offer, especially in B2B. And that pattern kept repeating. Again and again, I heard the same frustrations. Again and again, I'd see the same missed opportunities. Until one day, I stopped observing. That is when I took the lead. Lesson number 5. When the signs repeat, take the lead. Now, this is very important, extremely important. While I know that one can start a business at any age and there are examples at all bands of the spectrum, one of the best times to start your business is when you can no more see yourself learning something new by continuing what you've been continuing to do. Now, because I always knew that I wanted to start my own business, staying any further than 3 years or switching a job would not allow me to grow. It would mean that my salary would keep on increasing and the bar of I'd like to earn at least this much would keep on getting higher. 3 years in, I finally decided to start something of my own. This is when I decided to start Witty in 2018. I started pitching, there were cold emails, cold calls, referrals and word of mouth. One client turned into 2, 2 turned into 10 and slowly the business began to take shape. It's been over 6 years now. We work with global and national brands. But more than logos, what matters to me is the way we work. Because I've always believed that behind every business, there is a human and you need to appeal to that human. All marketing, no matter how technical, has to be human to human. And now with AI, as the markets evolve, along with our clients, every day is a new opportunity for us. Every day is so dynamic, I hardly look back to see how far we've come. Now here's an extension of the 5th lesson. When the signs repeat, take the leap and take the leap in your right window. When I was 28, I started Witty. This time mattered a lot because had it been any later, the stakes would get higher. The energy levels also start plummeting. The window between 25 to 30 I find is great to take the plunge because you've gained a certain level of maturity and experience and your enthusiasm levels are still high and you often need the latter more than the former for starting out. It's okay to be a little silly. Your life will absorb your mistakes. You will eventually start up when you start staying awake at night, asking yourself, why haven't you done it yet? And it would just pull you out of your bed, take you to your laptop where you'll find yourself typing your resignation letter. If you have a plan in place, don't let this window pass. Because if you do, you might not do it ever again. Because life has its ways of taking us along with its flow. Bonus lesson. Many individuals earn much higher than what a business owner ever would. Sometimes they have to do lesser hard work and still have a higher impact. Many people don't know or envision the complexities that come along with starting a business. And many would do much better joining a firm and contributing to its success rather than starting their own firms. That said, entrepreneurship is a beautiful journey with everyone's journey being unique. My journey has been simple, beautiful, the way I had always envisioned it, and I would never want to trade it for a corporate job. But it's not a journey that everyone can survive or thrive in. So know yourself, reflect honestly, and do what works best for you. Constant happiness is a myth. But if you keep feeling restless every now and then, do think hard, what is it that you really want to do? My journey has been fairly non-dramatic, but I hope you got something out of it.